Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage. Welcome to episode 31 of Civilization 5 as Babylon. Hopefully this will be the last video in this series and we'll know one way or another whether we have won the game. We do have a little bit of a problem here because Shaka is still attacking us. I'm really hoping that he will leave us alone. I'm going to see if he will actually accept an offer of peace. We did also just get one of our trade routes plundered, which wasn't very nice, but I don't think it's really all that vital at the moment in winning this game. It would be nice if I could weaken some more of their units, but I don't necessarily know if that is going to happen. Let us go ahead and see if he will peace out. He will not, and he has a lot of units around here that I really do not like. So what we are going to do, and I don't use nukes very often, but I'm going to drop an atomic bomb on his head. So sorry, Zulus, you're about to lose most of your stuff. So that should, if it doesn't kill, it should severely weaken almost every single unit that is in the area there. There we go. Most of his stuff has now gone. What can I say? I warned you. I see he's now actually upgraded to rocket artillery now as well. So let's go ahead and take some shots where we can. Any units that we can kill, we will kill. Let's go ahead and move you over here, and you can take a shot and finish that guy. If he had any aircraft in there, I'm not too sure whether he did still have aircraft in there, but if he did have any aircraft in there, then they have now been destroyed as well. So that is nice and useful for us. Now, are you willing to peace out now? Still not willing to peace out. Do you know what? I might actually even be able to take Ragusa. Might even liberate it. Rocket artillery, we'll just leave you there. All of a sudden, that gives me a lot less units to have to worry about. I could move in and try and take something out here. Let's just go in and start doing some damage where we can. This thing's still at almost full health, so attacking that's not terribly smart, but we'll just stay back there. Obviously, some of these tiles also have fallout on, which means that we do take combat penalty for being in them, so we will need to back out of that. I think a CAD's going to be fine, to be honest, and again, it doesn't really matter if I lose a CAD now, because I have finished the spaceship part that was being built there also. He doesn't really have a huge number of tiles that he can attack from. So he is trying to bombard me with his half-dead artillery. Who knows, he might do some damage. It's unlikely that he's going to do an awful lot. He's going to do far more damage with that anti-aircraft gun than anything else. So he is posturing some units around. He does still have plenty of stuff left. Of course, I'm going to try and do as much damage as possible. Convince him that he might want to get out of this war. Because I know I'm bored of it. It's amazing the number of times he has actually declared war on me and managed to take precisely naff all on every occasion. So we're just going to do everything we can just to try and weaken all of his units. You can fire at well, we can't get a kill whichever one we fire at, so you can fire at that guy there. You can also take another shot as well. If we move you down one tile, you can take a shot at that anti-aircraft gun. Which means we can either, well, we can go in here and actually completely kill that unit, so we probably will. We might lose a unit here if we're not careful, but we don't really mind too much. We want to see if he's willing to go for peace now. He's lost a lot. You'd think he will. Yep, white peace. There we go. Okay. So that war is now over, at least until the peace deal ends and he attacks us again, although the game should be over before he has a chance to do that. So we're just going to get all of these guys working on railroads. Everyone else is just going to sit around and heal up. Once again, I don't think we actually lost a single unit in that battle, so I'm happy with that. Next great scientists in 17 turns, that's completely pointless to us. I think the game will be over by then. I think the last spaceship part to complete, 9 turns... 12 turns. Yeah, the one in Rome will be the last part to complete. And we should be able to just build a... We should be able to take it up there fairly quickly. So we've just got to hold out for 12 turns and hope that the AI can't beat us in the meantime. Unfortunately, nuclear non-proliferation has now passed, so the one that we were building in Buffalo Creek we do lose. A little bit of a shame, but it's not the end of the world. I think what I am going to do is I will grab... I'm going to get an anti-aircraft gun. Actually, I'm going to get a mobile SAM. And at least that way we should have a little bit of protection if he does attack us again. So what could we get here? Gold maintenance on units. None of these really bother us all that much. Quantity of strategic resources produced is increased by 100%. Though we don't really need it. None of these is particularly useful. Is there another useful level 1 tenant? We could take the happiness. Is there anything that we could take in just a policy, really? Is there anything that could help us here? +2 gold from all land trade routes. Not really. None of it's really all that useful, is there? I don't have a lot of units, so we won't save a lot of gold even by taking that. Strategic resources we're not really short of. We're not building any more units, so most of this is completely pointless to us. Let's just take the... happiness from castles, arsenals, and military bases. Current happiness is... I can't even see because the screen's too dark. 13. So we will go from 13 up to 18. So it's not great, but it does help a little. Puts us 4 turns away from a golden age. So that might actually help with a few things as well. So everyone else is just going to go on to defensive. I'm not even going to bother trying to rebuild the trade route that we lost. It seems a little bit pointless. Just got a lot of units now that need being told to heal up and stuff like that, and the camera's doing its usual stupid thing again. Luckily, Hiawatha's still happy with us, and we have used our only nuke, but I think we needed to do that to encourage Shaka to stand down from his pointless war. And I say, hopefully we'll be able to finish the game before he becomes too much of a problem. Looks like England is just down to 1 city. These two up here... actually, that's weird that Nottingham managed to fall to Austria. Is Austria at war? Austria's at war with the Zulus. They must have been at war with the Celts at some point. And England's only city down... Oh, they have 2. Warwick and Coventry. They're really crappy cities, but they do have 2. It's quite possible the Celts might wipe them out. Speaking of the Celts, how are they doing? Oh, they're still losing money. They have 47 gold and they're losing 21 per turn. That's actually quite impressive. So what have we got going on? You guys have finished the road there. So we've got one there. So that needs to be a railroad. And then the railroad should be done. Hiawatha's declared war on the Zulus. I'm actually tempted to give him open borders now, just to make life a little bit easier. So we're working on stealth. And I'm basically just looking at 10 turns to complete this, and then a turn or 2 to move it up into position. Looks like Austria's still at war with the Zulus. Or the Zulus are still at war with Austria, whichever way you want to look at it. We're not making a huge amount of money per turn. Actually, what are we paying on unit maintenance? Maybe I would have saved more than I thought. 78 on unit maintenance, so we'd have only saved about 19 gold. 19.5 gold, so not really a huge amount to worry about. Now we've got the battle of the mobile SAMs, which constantly seem to fire at each other. I suppose they do have machine guns on, don't they? I suppose SAM launchers do have anti-personnel, so I guess that's valid. Citrus to Maria ended. Well, yeah, we'd kind of like to get that going again. We do still have a declaration of friendship. She doesn't have a lot of money, but you know, you've got to take all the money that you can get. So we'll take that, and then it's probably going to be 4 gold per turn. Yeah, we could probably got 5, but not hugely important. Everybody else just sit around and do nothing really. You have finished the railroad there, I assume. You have indeed. I'm just going to go ahead and automate you now because I don't have a lot else for you to do. Yeah, everybody else just sit around and wait. And hopefully we'll win before the peace treaty wears off, or at least we'll win before he declares war again. Even if he does declare war, I think we'll only be 2 or 3 turns away from getting a science win. I don't think the AI is close enough to win anyway. I haven't seen anybody who is close to a win. Austria have lost quite a few of the city-states, which means they can't get a diplomatic win just yet. Nobody has anywhere near enough capital cities to get a domination victory. I think the only person that has any cultural influences over anybody is Hiawatha, and he only has 1 science victory. I'm the only one that's built any spaceship parts at all at the moment, although quite a few people have finished the Apollo program, but that's fairly standard for the AI. They pretty much always research the Apollo program, and very early on, even though they don't necessarily go for a science victory. They do like to do the Apollo program, so I am glad we did get that nuke out. I don't get to use nukes very often, but it was fun dropping it on Shaka just to stick the V's up at him from across the forest there. What have we got here? We have finished the SS engine, so let us go ahead and it doesn't really matter what we build now. It's kind of a moot point. Let us just go and build a stadium just to keep the production busy, so we don't have to worry about it. So unit needs orders. We have that engine. You're going to go down to Babylon. So the only things we've got left is the booster, which is here. Can you just stop waking up, please? We've got the booster, which is 5 turns away. And then down here we have the stasis chamber, which is 8 turns away. Iroquois have denounced England. In fact, are England still alive? Because the Iroquois have taken Coventry. They must have peaced out, I think, and took Coventry in the peace deal. So now Warwick is the only city left. And that's really interesting, isn't it? England have this one little city, which is an island in the middle of the ocean with 2 oases, a patch of oil, two sort of shoals of fish, and they want to go to war with Rome. I suppose Rome's in as equally a shitter position at the moment. There's not much going on there in Rome, but still England. I think you're biting off a little bit more than you can chew there. Golden Age has dawned. That's actually taken us down from 6 turns to, well, I say 8 turns to 6. It was probably going to be 7 anyway, so it has knocked a turn off, which is good. You have finished the railroad, so you can just go off now and do whatever you want. Just stay out of my way. I don't want to micromanage you anymore. This is me buying open borders. No, he would like to buy open borders from me, so no, we don't need that. Although he probably was going through to actually... If he asks me again on the next turn, I'm going to say yes, because probably what he's going to do is go off and fight Shaka, which could be really good for me if he does. So I probably will allow him to do that if he asks again. Normally I don't like giving the AI open borders, but that might well have been the time to do it. You can tell me this battle between the Celts and Rome is still going on. Yeah, it is. What is anybody getting out of that? It's just a complete waste of time. Not too sure what's going on over here. Obviously somebody managed to land some units next to a Lundy, but they just got obliterated. They didn't really get the chance to do anything. Okay, we have got production. We have finished the rocket artillery over here. Let's just go ahead and grab a stadium again, because we're just trying to keep buildings busy. Rome stole computers. We're still ahead on tech. Probably should build a constabulary, not that it really matters. You are just going to ready up. So 2 turns for that SS booster. Don't need a research agreement with you. Now, is there anything I could build in Rome just to try and speed up production? I don't think I have enough money to do it, even if I wanted to. By the time I've saved up enough money to buy anything that might help them, then we'll probably already have finished it, so... Not too sure where that aircraft came from. Oh no, this is a purple unit. That must belong to a city-state or something. Not too sure who that belongs to. Or should I say who it belonged to. Maybe it was Vilnius. Or maybe even Byblos. Actually, it was purple, wasn't it? Yeah, it was probably a unit from Byblos. That's okay, that makes sense. We didn't actually really manage to get influential with any of the city-states. We got friendly with a few of them, but we haven't really been able to do an awful lot. So, units needing orders. The railroad has now been completed. We don't need that open borders with the Iroquois anymore. And more importantly, when the stasis chamber's finished, we can just drive it straight up the railroad, so it should be nice and quick. Let's just hope nobody declares war on us in the meantime. There's only a few turns left before it is done. We'll have about 900 gold by the end of this turn, so we will have a quick look and just see if we can build anything in Rome, just to speed the production up, even if it is by a single turn. It's very unlikely. I might actually have a quick look at, well, we're one turn away from city growth, so we could actually, there we go, so that's going to knock another turn off. Rome has grown. I assume wherever you moved it was into a production tile. Yeah, that's fine. If we're not bothered about growth, now we're down to 2 turns. Are we working anything that's pure food? That puts us in starvation. Anything that's giving us very little production and a tiny bit of food. Let's do that. 2 turns. There we go. Rocket, we don't care, so just a stadium, just to stay busy. We're going to have a request to move a statue unit. The SS booster is completed, so again, just stadiums because it just keeps you busy. Moving a statue unit, we'll leave the rocket artillery in and we'll actually move the bazooka. Well, that didn't work, did it? It was the rocket artillery I wanted to leave in, but never mind. That's fine, we should be okay. SS booster, add to the spaceship. Okay, as far as I'm aware now, we only need 1 more part. Going to double check in a moment, just so I don't make a complete arse out of myself. Don't think I've ever had a... Well, I know I've never had a game go this long before. I mean, this is only really the 2nd or 3rd game I've played on Epic, but I don't even think the first one went quite this long. Quite a slow game, really, but... So, 2 turns. I know that a spaceship victory isn't the most exciting victory, and in fact, it's probably the easiest to get. Saying that, though, it's also the easiest one for the AI to get as well. The AI tends to favour the science victory, and, you know, the AI does have an unfair advantage to start with anyway. Can we build anything here that would help? We can't afford to buy a nuclear plant. We could buy a stoneworks, which would give us 1 production, so it's completely useless. Watermill would also give us 1 production as well. Let's go to stoneworks. It's going to be 1 turn anyway. It doesn't really make any difference. Why am I even bothering? Let's just go and click through. So at the end of this turn... Yeah, sure, why not? At the end of this turn, that will be finished. You watch this. Declaration of war. Peace treaty with Shaka has ended. Shaka has declared war. Really, guys? You're still at that? I think this is why, I really think this is why the Celts don't have any money. They're just spending everything they've got on building battleships just so that they can bombard random Roman units and not actually get anywhere. No longer friends with her. Oh dear, what are we going to do? Well, what we are going to do is we are going to find Rome somewhere, and we're going to take this stasis chamber and we're going to move it to Babylon and take 2 turns, unfortunately. It is going to get there. We're going to choose production here, and we are going to work on a medical lab just because it won't bother us asking us each turn. Now, why did you just move on to that tile? That seemed like a very strange thing to do. You couldn't move into the city. You should have just stayed there. Still, we should be able to reach Babylon on the next turn, I think. You can just screw off. He's still at war with Austria. And he's still having a fun time going around clearing up all of this fallout, so I'm glad that we caused him some disruption there. Okay, city-state's turn. Gold per turn to Hiawatha ended. Doesn't matter one little bit. Is it my turn? Right, we can get in there. Can't do it on this turn, though. 1 tile of movement. Too few. But let's hit next turn. Yeah, sure. I don't care anymore. I'm literally one button press away from winning this game. And this will be my first ever Immortal game victory, and it's a legit win. Yes, it's a messy win. It's not an optimal win, but the point is I won. And that's the aim, right? The aim of the game is to win. And considering this is my first... Sure. Considering this is my first ever attempt at Immortal, if we're not counting the restart, which we probably should. So it's my second attempt at Immortal. I'm pretty pleased that I managed to get a win. I mean, yes, Babylon are quite overpowered, but, you know, started next to Rome, started next to Hiawatha, started next to Shaka. Win. And there are my achievements. The world is a mess and I just need to rule it.
You have achieved victory through mastery of science. You have conquered the mysteries of nature.
Brilliant. So let's just quickly go ahead, have a look at the demographics and stuff. So we were the top in happiness. We were the top in literacy. Hiawatha was top in everything else, and by the end of it, England was the one that was kind of at the bottom. Obviously, soldier-wise, Rome got decimated, which is really strange because at one point Rome were like the top. Didn't do particularly well on score. If you actually look at the scoreboards, I was pretty much. I mean, Rome and obviously Ethiopia got decimated, so they're not even on the scoreboard. Rome and England got both basically reduced to a single city. So even though I had many more cities, I'm still so low down on the scoreboards, especially compared to Hiawatha, who has like 3,472. But I still won. So let's go and have a look at the replay, if it will let us, because the whole thing feels like it's being a little bit slow. There we go. So let's just have a quick look at the graphs. It's always a little bit difficult to tell what's going on. You can see the Iroquois here. This is in terms of score. And the Iroquois just absolutely shot up there in score. That red line, I think, was Ethiopia. So obviously they fell quite early on. And you can see that Rome is the yellow line. And Rome had many, many poor wars. And they just lost unit after unit and city after city. And then obviously England fell quite quickly towards the end there. If we just go and have a look at some other useful things. Culture per turn. Again, the Iroquois were putting out huge amounts of culture. So were Austria. Ours was like next to nothing. Excess happiness. It was mainly Austria that was a very, very happy nation. Food per turn. Again, Hiawatha was always going to be at the top. Gold per turn. Hiawatha. He made so much money. It was absolutely ridiculous. Happiness. Hiawatha most of the way. Improved tiles. The Zulus, because the Zulus actually had quite a lot of land there, so they had quite a few. Military might. See, look at Hiawatha's military. It's double what Rome's was at the height. Well, where's Rome? Rome's gold. Look at what it was compared. Rome never got anywhere near what the Iroquois finished on. That was absolutely amazing. If you look at mine, which is the light blue, with that's the Celts, that darker blue, with this line here compared to the Iroquois. Yeah, I would have just got slaughtered. Number of cities, Iroquois, Shaka, not surprising. Number of known techs. It was neck and neck, but we did sort of pull ahead towards the end. We definitely got quite a bit ahead of everybody else. Science per turn, I'd like to see. Yeah, towards the end, the Iroquois really did manage to get a lot of science, but we still finished ahead. I'm happy about that. Let's have a quick look at the map, and we will go ahead and play. So I know some people like to see this. They like to have a quick look and just see how things spread. So everyone's pretty much only got one city at this point. Hiawatha starts his second and his third. I still don't even have a second city at this point, and he's already got 3. There's Rome's third just appeared. I've got my second city now. My capital's starting to blob out. Hiawatha's got his 4th city, so has Rome. Ethiopia's got 2. Shaka's got 3, and he did forward settle Ethiopia quite hard there. There's Buffalo Creek being founded down between myself and Rome, so that's Hiawatha's 5th city. It's now been captured by Rome in an early war. I've still only got 3 cities at this point, and then that's where Rome forward settles me with Arretium. By this point, Shaka's already taken 1 city away from Ethiopia, and Rome is really starting to blob out, taking a city from England there. I do now have my 4th city by this point. I've got my city on the coast, which gets taken off me by the city-state, so now I'm back down to 3 cities. Shaka is continuing to blob out, and Rome is continuing to blob out. And at this point, Hiawatha's kind of penned in. He doesn't really have any room to expand. He's right up against my borders on one side, he's right up against Rome's on the south, and then he's just got a couple of city-states up there in the ocean. But he does take one of the city-states to give him a little bit. He actually takes both of the city-states, 3 city-states to expand out. Then we've got those little wars that was going on for quite some time over the Roman cities. You can see that little purple arm that's extended towards my capital when Arretium and Rome with his triple great general citadel spam. But we did manage to take it back. We took Arretium from him there. Obviously, Shaka's taking a little bit more land down at the south. Austria's not really spreading too much. Hiawatha's getting lots of little cities all around on the islands, and this is when Rome was just down to 3 cities. This was around about the time of the Battle of Rome. Obviously, Shaka taking more cities. There we go. That was the fall of Rome. We managed to take that. You can see that the Iroquois actually have quite a lot of stuff there. They've still got a huge number of cities in comparison to me, because you've got to count up. They've got at least, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cities on islands. So, yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Wasn't the best of victories, but it was a victory, and my first ever Immortal win. Like I said, I probably will play another game or 2 on Immortal, just to make sure that I have got it down, and that it wasn't just some sort of fluke, and then I will have a go at Deity. So, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Thanks for sticking with me. It's been an amazing ride. I honestly thought for a few points in that campaign that it was all going to turn south and I'd have to restart again, but I really enjoyed it, especially when we started beating up on Rome. It made the game much more fun and much more enjoyable. So I'll see you guys on the next series. Thanks a lot for watching, and until then, goodbye for now.